Muncie is known as Middletown because during the 1920s, a husband and wife team of social scientists, Robert and Helen Lind, selected the city as the site of a close investigation of social and cultural life. And so they came to Muncie in 1924, spent about 18 months living in the city, collecting data, engaging in participant observation. They joined churches, they joined clubs, they went to public meetings, they had dinner parties with the locals, all these kinds of things, as a way of getting a handle on the impact of industrialization on the city's life. And so they produced a very long and ultimately very successful book called Middletown, A Study in Modern American Culture. So it was a bestseller. It became a standard text assigned in college classrooms. It was widely reviewed. It was widely praised. It remains in print. It's a classic sociological study, amongst the first and arguably the most important community study ever done. And as a result of its success, it spawned offspring. It produced a series of follow-ups. The Linds themselves came back to Muncie in the 1930s to study the impact of the Great Depression. And other scholars have come since. There was a major replication of the original study during the 1970s. There was another smaller but still substantial replication during the late 1990s to mark the end of the 20th century. But in a sense, doing environmental work then fills a gap that ought to be filled and is certainly an important part of a community's life, particularly a community that is deindustrializing and so has all kinds of sites where environmental issues are tantamount. I mean, they're fundamental to figuring out what's going to happen next. We have all these industrial sites, these brownfields that need to be remediated, and so almost any move forward economically in Muncie is going to involve addressing environmental problems and concerns. The other way in which I think studies of the environment can help is that one of the key issues has been, in all of this research, has been the tension between the individual and the community, and the interests and the needs of a specific community. How do you weigh them against the sort of strong and traditional American emphasis on the individual and their rights and needs and concerns? And so environmental issues fit very nicely into that context because they involve, in many cases, they involve pitting the rights or the desires or the interests of an individual against the larger interests of the community.